Was starting this YouTube channel a good decision? I've now hit the 4-year mark, and today I'm going to cover a few things, including how much money I've earned or lost or invested, depending on how you look at it. I'm going to share some lessons I've learned and what I'm thinking about for this channel as I head into 2025. Hi, my name is Nicole. Welcome to my channel, Travel to Money, where I share about how to travel, adventure, and have fun on the road to financial independence. If any of that sounds up your alley, be sure to subscribe and join me every week. When I started this channel, I had watched so many other YouTube videos about what to do, and one of the main things that I heard everyone say was, just start and don't worry about perfection. That was hard for me, but I listened to their advice and just did it. One video at a time, one lesson at a time, and 4 years later, I'm still learning, growing, trying to get better, and navigating the good and bad of life as a content creator. I'm going to break the video down into a few categories. First, we'll talk about money. Then I'll go over how my process has changed. From there, I'll share what I've found to be easiest and most difficult. And lastly, I'll share what I'm planning to do going forward. All right, money and YouTube. If you ever consider starting a YouTube channel, you're probably thinking about the money at some point. And it's not that everything is all about money, but running a channel can be a lot of work depending on how you do it. So it's a decent time investment. And you may be wondering if it will pay off. The most important thing regarding the path to money on YouTube is seeing your channel and the time you put into it, maybe for years, as a long-term financial investment. It's kind of like the stock market. When you start investing, it feels slow and almost seems pointless. You may have volatility, but the difference it makes over time can be staggering. Just to be clear, I am not at the staggering stage of my YouTube money journey. I'm a bit disappointed at how long it's taken and how little I'm making, but I am definitely seeing the upward trajectory and I'm excited about the future. I posted my first video on YouTube January 24th of 2021. I made my first 4 cents on YouTube March 17th, 2023. That means that it took 808 days before I was monetized and able to earn on YouTube. I am not saying that it will take you that long. Maybe you'll get there faster. But if you're going to start a channel and you have no other audience or previous experience, I think something around the 2-year time frame might be a realistic expectation. I'd also like to say that even though it took a little over 2 years to be monetized, the ramp up really changed along the way. For example, it took me the whole first year just to get to 100 subscribers. Then in the second year, I went from 100 to over 1,000. So I had 10 times more growth in year 2 than I did in year 1. And if I'm being super honest, if it wasn't for Instagram, it would have taken even longer to get monetized. I had a reel on Instagram go viral from December 2022 for several months into the new year of 2023. And that reel led to a lot of people checking out my YouTube channel and subscribing. It was kind of an insane season that flung me into growing a lot faster than I anticipated. I'll get more into that a bit later. Okay, so once I started earning, how much was I making? I'm going to go over those numbers in just a second, but I want to quickly mention that the category each video is in will determine how much you make on ads. For example, when I make a video about Spain, I usually make a lot less per video than I do on videos about finance or side hustles. However, my videos about finance and side hustles have a lot more competition, and my audience isn't as interested in those, so I don't usually get as many views. What that generally looks like for me is that I might have a video about finance that only gets 500 views, and it will earn the same amount as a video about Spain that has a few thousand views. Okay, let's look at the numbers. After I was monetized in March of 2023, for the rest of that month, I was making somewhere between 50 cents and $1.75 per day. Then in April, I was mostly making between $1 and $2 per day, with the occasional spike of $3 or $4. Skip ahead to July, and at that point, I'm making $2 to $3 on average per day, with a few $5 and $6 spikes. Then after a small lag in August, you start to see it trend up in September, and I have my biggest day of the year in October, earning $13 that day. From that point through the end of the year, the days would fluctuate a bit more between $1.75 and $6 per day. All in all, the year of 2023 paid me $694.84. If you only count the 208 days that I was monetized that year, that comes to a total of $2.41 per day on average. That trend between $2 and $6 per day continued for a while into 2024 until around May. That month, I had a video do pretty well, and I ended up having 4 days that went over $10. From that point forward, I noticed the daily trend jump up to anywhere from the $3 to $8 range per day. So you can see what I mean about it looking like the stock market. Every day is up and down, but the overall trend is up. My next jump up I noticed around September of 2024 when I began seeing more days between the $6 and $12 range. I put out one video per week, so you will usually see 2 to 3 days each week that spike up around the time the new video is released. Heading into the end of 2024, I saw some of my biggest gains yet. Week after week for several weeks in a row, my new video releases were doing much better. In December of 2024, 15 days that month had over $10 days, with one day even hitting $23. You may have heard me talk before about the Amazon Influencer Program, which has been a significant earning source for me as a content creator. Well, these YouTube numbers were, for the first time, beginning to rival my Amazon influencer numbers. Not in total, but there were several days where I earned more on YouTube than I did on Amazon. I didn't know if I'd ever see that day happen. Now, for the last 3.5 years of this channel, I've only missed posting for 2 or 3 weeks. At Christmas of 2024, I decided to take a week off, so it was pretty unfortunate that I decided to do that on my biggest month ever on YouTube. But that's okay, we all need a break from time to time. I ended up making $275 on YouTube in December of 2024. That was my highest month by over $100. Most months previous to that, I was earning between $100 and $150. I think if I had not skipped that 1 week in December, I would have made over $300 that month. Now, some of the ramp to me seems to come along with subscriber count. And I'm no expert on how YouTube algorithms work, but I don't think it's because you have more subscribers that are watching, but it's almost like YouTube decides to level you up when you're approaching a subscriber milestone. I could be wrong, but that just seems to be my experience. Okay, so in 2024, I made a total of $1,688.62. If you divide that by 365 days, the average amount I made per day was $4.62. Now, that means that after 4 years of doing YouTube, I have earned $2,387.70 specifically from my YouTube revenue. I can tell you now that I've spent more money on camera and microphone gear alone than what I've earned in return. Some people may think I'm crazy for continuing to do this, but I would mention a few things. Like I said, when it comes to the money part of this, it is a long-term investment. I'm hoping that my future gains make up for the slow financial start. The other thing is that of all the ways I'm involved in content creation for this business, I like making YouTube videos the most, and YouTube is my favorite of all the platforms. Also, YouTube isn't the only way I earn income from this business. When I first started, YouTube was my only focus. I knew it would take time to grow from nothing, but as I went along, I added other pieces to help me grow the business from a financial perspective. I added coaching, I became an Amazon influencer, I added different affiliates that I believed in. Not everything I've tried has paid off, but I'm learning every day. Another important part of this for me is that it's not all about the money. I love helping people find solutions they didn't even know existed. If I can help someone make a better financial decision, learn about a cool way to travel on a budget, or help a family on their path to buying a home in Spain, that is super rewarding. My favorite moments on this journey have been meeting with folks on coaching sessions and hearing their dreams and helping them navigate their decisions, or running into people in Spain who had seen some of my YouTube videos and getting to know them a bit. Relationships are one of my values, and through this YouTube channel, I get to see that come to life in this business. Now let's talk about my YouTube process and how it's changed since I first started. First of all, I script every video. I know my strengths and weaknesses, and I know that for me, I'm going to do the best job of honoring your time if I think everything through before I say it. Every week, I open up a Google Doc and start typing. These are some of the things I do when writing a script. First of all, I write my scripts the way that I speak, which is different from how I write if I'm putting together an article or a blog. So my scripts sound a lot more relational, and that's on purpose. Secondly, one of the things I learned about writing for the use of a teleprompter is that I should be writing out each word fully. For example, if I say the year 2025, instead of typing the numbers, I type out the words 2025. The same thing goes for something like a website. Instead of typing Amazon.com and using a period, I type the word dot. The reason for making these adjustments in your script writing is due to the teleprompter speed. It also helps to write just one big paragraph because this will also mess up the teleprompter flow when you're recording if you have paragraph breaks. Sometimes if I need an extra long pause, I'll add a dot, dot, dot. For a long time, I used the front-facing camera on my phone with the teleprompter app. If you have a front-facing camera that can film in at least 1080p, then you're probably fine for starting out. It wasn't until earlier in 2024 that I upgraded my camera and bought an actual teleprompter setup. So like I said, my process starts with a script. Then I film usually just 1 or 2 videos at a time. I noticed that when I try to film more than 2 videos at a time, I lose the energy to stay focused and engaged with the camera. After I've filmed, I transfer the footage to my computer and I edit in Premiere Pro. My editing process has evolved some over the last 4 years, but using Premiere Pro or any other video editing software is one of those areas where you'll always continue learning. After my video is edited, I export it, upload it, and then work on my thumbnail, usually using Canva. I will also work on my description, my tags, and other elements included in YouTube. After that, I schedule the video for the day and time I want to post. For most of the last 4 years, I posted videos on Sunday. I've just recently changed that to Monday. I'm not sure if it will make a difference in response to the videos, but it's just better for my schedule. From there, I share the link on socials and then watch closely for a day or two in order to respond quickly to any video comments. And that's my whole process. The only other thing within the process that I've changed is that I recently decided to try, in most cases, to make longer videos. So I used to be in the 8 to 12 minute mark, but now I'm focusing for the most part on making videos in the 15 to 20 minute length. So what about my YouTube journey has been easiest? Honestly, I think I really enjoy writing the scripts, and to some extent, I enjoy the whole creative process. If it weren't for the pressure of time, I'd probably enjoy the process a lot more. Another thing I've found to be pretty easy is the consistency of posting once per week. It's not that I've done that perfectly, but it's been manageable, and I kind of promised myself from the very beginning that I would learn to prioritize myself and this business by saying no to other things if I needed to in order to get this done. That was huge for me, and it's made the process a lot easier. There are 3 areas I've found to be difficult. First is my struggle with time management. My brain is all over the place, and even though I always get the job done, sometimes it has come at a cost of my personal time. I'm a lot more committed to managing that now, but I have struggled to get that under control over the last few years. Second is negative comments. I've struggled a lot more with that on Instagram than I have on YouTube, but my lord, some people can really be awful. And I hate to admit it, but I've lost a lot of sleep over the last few years because of those haters out there. And the crazy thing is, most of the comments I receive are positive, but it just takes one jerk to really get under your skin. I am currently managing that better, but if this thing really grows, I will have boundaries in place to keep myself in a positive headspace, like hiring someone to read everything for me and process all the junk out first. Anyhow, if you're considering YouTube and you are someone who cares at all about what other people think or say, have a plan for how you're going to deal with it. The last difficult thing is how to navigate my niche. I share about how to travel, adventure, and have fun on the road to financial independence, but my audience grew for the most part based on one 30-second video about buying a house in Spain. And I just don't want my niche to be that small, but I also want to give people what they want. So it has definitely been something I've struggled to figure out exactly what to do. So what are my plans for YouTube going forward? I will continue posting and may increase the frequency to 2 or 3 times per week. I may also start a couple of other channels under my brand, but I'm still working out the details on those. I'm assuming since I already have an audience, it may be a bit easier to grow a new channel. This year, I'm planning to file for my LLC. And then I'm also starting to think about what I want legacy planning to look like for my business. I know I'm the face of this, but I think I'd like for it to live on beyond my working and maybe even living years. I'm continuing to try to figure out how I can be the best resource for you, the ones who are kind enough to be here. If you have any questions about my YouTube journey, I'd love to chat with you in the comments. If you're interested in how much I make from each of my other income streams under Travel to Money, I'll be doing a video about that soon. I'd love for you to like this video and subscribe to join me every day, where travel and adventure build financial freedom. I can't wait to see where your dreams will take you.